This is SpaceCoastDaily.com here with Mr. Vaughn. His son, Aaron Vaughn, was part of the Navy Special Operations Team helicopter that was shot down in Afghanistan. Mr. Vaughn, could you tell us a little bit about the just the follow-up that you did with the military afterward, and just a little bit more about what happened with the some of the ceremonies involving your son and an imam?
Well, when men or women are killed in Afghanistan, before their body is flown back to the United States, they have what's called a ramp ceremony. And when this happened with our son and the other American warriors, there was a ramp ceremony, but we were not given a copy of the ramp ceremony, and that's usually standard procedure. But nearly, a year and a half later, in January 2012, we were visited by some Navy officials, and we were asked if we had a copy of the ramp ceremony. When we said we did not, one of the men said he would get us a copy. After some time went by, my wife contacted him and said we hadn't received it yet. He told us that there had been a lot more red tape to go through than he thought to get it, but he did get us a copy in the next few days. We watched the ceremony, and it was a somber ceremony and a good memorial to our son and to the men who died that day. But at the end of the chaplain, the American chaplain's prayer, we noticed and saw an imam chanting in the pictures of the imam chanting over the coffins, the flag-draped coffins of the Americans. And immediately, Karen and I looked at each other and we said, we need to have this translated and see what he's saying. So she was able to pull the audio off, and the audio only of the imam, because we did not want to anybody to give a prejudiced look at it or anything. We wanted to know exactly what the imam was saying and not what it was, that it was tied to American soldiers or anything. So it was sent to a translator, a retired military with experience in Afghanistan, experience in Arabic and Farsi, and he got back with us in the translation. Said that the Muslims were the winners, that the infidels and the Christians were fodder for hellfire, and that if Muhammad had gone to the mountain instead of Moses, that the mountains would have crumbled, would have fallen prostrate in front of Muhammad. And let me just tell you, I don't blame the imam. We know who imams are. We know what imams will say. We know about their religion. I blame the American government. Since then, this has been translated by staff from Louis Gohmert, staff from Congress Lady Michelle Bachmann, people from Glenn Beck, some other groups, and they've all come back with the same translation. The Department of Defense was asked about this, and they said that the translation was not correct. But we stand by the translation. We've even had at least one imam make a comment that it was what was said, but it was not what was meant that day. So we stand by the translation. And as I said, we don't blame Islam or the imam. We blame the United States government for submitting our men and our women to this. And by the way, not only did they did he chant over the coffins of the Americans, hundreds of American men and women standing there at this ceremony were submitted to hearing this imam pray this over their dead warriors' bodies.
And you mentioned that there were Afghanis in this ceremony who were not U.S. soldiers but were, in a sense, honored equally with the U.S. soldiers?
There were Afghanis. There were Afghanis on the chopper that night, and they had an equal, a commingled ceremony for them, if you will, for the 8 Afghanis who died when the chopper was shot down with the Americans. And then they had to be flown back, all the Afghans and the Americans had to be flown back to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, and their bodies had to be DNA identified there.
And that's just one of several reasons why you and your wife are traveling the country to spread awareness about some of the things that are going on right underneath Americans' noses, right here on the eve of September 11th as well.
That's exactly right. There's exactly right. Our men and women are being forced to submit to this primitive culture over and over again, and they're not allowed to defend themselves. They're on foreign soil.
Do you think this administration takes any of your questioning about this procedure seriously, or do you think they err on the side of being politically correct?
I have asked. I asked at a press conference. I asked on Fox News for President Obama to stand up and defend our warriors, to condemn what the imam said over the bodies of our warriors that day, much the way he defended. The way he condemned the burning of the Quran by our American soldiers in Afghanistan. He came out publicly and condemned that. He was public in defending and protecting and making sure that Osama bin Laden had the proper Muslim burial ceremony. So I have asked publicly, even on Fox News, for him to come forward and condemn this, or that his silence would be his consent. So far, we've heard nothing from the president, nothing from the Department of Defense.
And how long ago was that? Has that been?
That was back in May of 2013.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate your time speaking with us, and our thoughts are with you as you travel, and thank you for taking the time.